A very good evening to you all. A very warm welcome to everyone present here. I'm Asawari and you're watching Ecoholics. And today we are again meeting in this weekend for the live discussion of a very important competitive examination, UGC NET Paper 2 Economics. So today in this live session, I have got something really interesting and something which has been recently incorporated in the UGC NET paper. Now, for a very long period of time, you all must have seen something known as reading comprehension, which was a very integral part of paper 1. But recently, it has also been associated with paper 2. So specifically if we talk about economics, so a reading comprehension passage arrives, and in that passage, along the lines of the same passage, you will be given some 5 or 6 questions, and then you'll be asked to solve them according to the reference of the passage. So today's topic of discussion is this reading comprehension passage that we are receiving, and it has been recently incorporated in the UGC NET paper. So today's discussion is going to be on that part. Now, a very good evening to you all. I will also be simultaneously addressing to all the students who are constant visitors to the website for Ecoholics, and also our constant subscribers and students. So a very warm welcome to you all, and Ecoholics is always present to address all your queries and all your doubts. So we have another website, and we have YouTube channel, and we have our contact details. So you can always come across with our queries, and with regards to various doubts with regards to career perspectives and all various examinations that we offer through our contact details. So today, while beginning with the reading comprehension passage, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the reading comprehension passage, and along with that, we are also going to learn a few tactics or a few tricks of solving these such type of reading comprehension passages, okay, so that you can have a better understanding of how to crack a passage. Many a times students might not be able to understand the context of the passage. So in the few times the question paper that we have seen and observed, the passages have been relatively easier. However, there is no guarantee that this easy or moderate difficulty will continue in the future as well, and we obviously expect that the examination is going to be tougher and tougher every passing year. So which is why, and that's why in the starting of the discussion for today's reading comprehension for paper 2 economics, you should take notes of whatever we are going to learn in this in the reading comprehension part, and then we'll go to solve the question that had arrived in this time's paper 2 economics paper. Okay, so let us begin with today's discussion. All right, so here we go. Now I hope that I'm visible and audible to you all, and you can clearly see the screen. Comprehension passages, for such type of passages specifically which are incorporated in the UGC NET paper 2 examination, if you have any query with regards to how to approach the topic, how should we learn, or what should be the revision, practice passages, all those types of questions will be taken up in this today's discussion. Okay, so you can post all these various questions. The video is not clear. Okay, all right, let me fix the network. Although the network seems fine for me, but still let me fix. All right, So is the video clear now? Are you able to properly hear my voice? Am I audible as well as visible, as well as all these various things are legible to you all, whichever are written on the screen? You can always answer to those questions in the chat box. I'll be simultaneously looking at the chat box so that we can have an interactive session. Okay. Alright, now the very first slide of this discussion involves how to study the reading comprehension passage specifically for the paper 2, economics. When we talk about paper 1, reading comprehension passage are relatively of a variety of they comprise of a variety of subjects, so they can be very generic, okay. But when you talk about economics and when you talk about reading comprehension passage coming in paper 2, which means specifically with relations to economics, then definitely you must note that it is very important for you all to learn the various types of jargons that are generally used with respect to economics. And for that particular reason, you must be well averse with the current news, and you can always go ahead and read a few good newspapers which would give you which would inculcate in you some jargons that are specifically used with reference to economics, okay. So which can definitely be done. Okay, I would request in the chat box, there are a few students who to whom the video is not clear properly. So I would also like to ask other students whether all of you are facing the same issue, or whether everything is fine with regards to the other students. There might be sometimes a few network errors and problems here and there, so it's all right, we can continue with that as well. Okay, now let us, okay, it's clear now, great. So we're good to go. Now let us understand this specific topic with reference to this this chart that we have. Okay, now I'm going to take up highlighter over here. Okay, all right. So when we talk about the reading comprehension passage for economics, as I was saying that you should be well averse with various jargons that are used, and those jargons are going to be clear to you all when you are going to read the newspaper news articles. You can you can start practicing to read the news articles very passively. And by what I mean passively is, first only read the headlines, or first only read some of the editorials. Don't start off reading the newspaper altogether by reading the whole newspaper. It is first of all going to waste a lot of time of yours, because you are preparing for such an examination which is corely based on economics, and there's also a general paper. But for that you do not need to acquire that much in-depth knowledge, so which is why you should be very selective. But you can always pick up some really interesting jargons, specifically when you talk about various editorials, various newspapers like the Hindu or the Financial Express or the Economic Times would definitely give you really nice economic terms in those editorials. So you can always, like once a day, you can always have a dose of one editorial, and that is going to definitely refine your jargon for economics, so which is going to give you some perspective into how you should read, or what is going to be the concept that is going to come in the coming future of paper 2 examination with regards to the reading comprehension part. Now, how to study or what to study? First of all, when you look at the passage, you will analyze the subject of the passage. Okay, subject of the passage means what is the topic, what has been the topic that has been taken up, whether it is micro or international economics or environmental economics, public finance. What is the subject? Okay, you all know that definitely it is going to be from economics, but what is the sub subject? Okay, what is the topic in that subject that they have taken up? They can many times combine macroeconomics along with public finance, or microeconomics along with environmental economics, or welfare economics along with environmental economics. So there can be so many various combinations. So you should first of all browse through the passage and just take a glimpse of what is it about. That is actually going to help you train your brain into looking at those concepts which are near to that segment of your syllabus. So it will be in a better way, it will be helping you all to select the correct option in the answers with regards to each of the question that is going to arrive. Then the next one is, what is the main idea? What is the main idea of that passage? Is the passage very generic? Okay, presently, like currently in the past 2 examinations that we have observed, the main idea was pretty simple. It was a very informative and a small abstract of a certain article normally. However, the pattern can change. They have recently incorporated articles or small abstracts. They can always introduce modification in those abstracts also to make it difficult for you all. Okay, so which is why it is very important for you to also encapsulate the main idea. What are they talking about? Are they talking about in a very general sense, or are they very specific? Okay, have they pointed out some demerits and merits of a certain issue? Are they being critical to a something? Okay, or are they providing some solutions to a certain impending problem? So while you go browse through the passage once, you should get a glimpse of not just the topic but also the main idea of the passage. Okay, and which is why the reading of this passage, which is for specifically paper 2, is very different from what you read in paper 1. When you start reading the comprehension in paper 1, you normally go run your eyes through and do the skimming part or the screening part. However, in paper 2, the passage is pretty different. It has a lot of jargons which will be asked to you when you'll solve the questions. So which is why it's very important for you to read this passage a little more properly if you compare the reading of the passage in the paper 1 question paper. Okay, then you have a variety of questions that might be asked to you. What kind of questions can be asked? There can be direct questions. Okay, directly from the passage itself, the questions can be asked and put as a question A, B, C, D, and then you just have to answer the questions. Recently, the scenario has been that there have been like out of 5, 4 questions have been direct questions. Okay, however, I'm telling you guys that the pattern can change. Okay, they have just introduced something. Now once they have introduced, now you're well averse with the concept of reading comprehension coming in paper 2 examination. So now they are going to introduce something new or something modified, and which can be something like these types of questions. Okay, questions based on author's tone. There might be some questions which might be based on the author's tone, similar to those questions which arrive in the reading comprehension passages in paper 1. Okay, so there can be increased number of questions which may arrive. Let's say if there are 5 questions now which are given, there might be 10 questions, or maybe in between 5 to 7 questions which might be given, wherein the weightage of understanding the concept or the weightage of encapsulating or comprehending that passage is going to be more. Okay, which is like an added skill to a teacher or a professor which you're going to be. after cracking this examination. So which is why this is very, very ideal that they might modify the pattern of giving you the passage next time. So be prepared for such type of questions. Logical structure questions are those questions which are probably, given as cause and effect relationship questions. Okay, cause and effect relationship questions. So these are going to be something which is going to be similar to analogy. They can be similar to something known as, you have to find a logic between two facts and then you have to answer the question. Okay, so those can be logical structure questions. Then you have inference based questions. Okay, now inference based questions are those questions wherein they are not going to directly give you what they have asked in the question. For example, if they have asked, if they have written in the passage something related to environmental economics, okay, a certain theory, okay, and in the question they might be asking the application part. They might give something which is an application, or I would not say it's just an application, but they might actually reverse the order of phrases. They might play with the language and then they might ask you the question. Now that question, unlike the direct questions, will not be directly seen by you in the passage, but you have to understand that it belongs to that same passage. So those are inference based questions. Okay, then you have vocabulary based questions, which is a probability. You cannot miss the opportunity of not knowing a certain word just because they have not mentioned in the syllabus. They never mentioned in the syllabus that reading comprehension also is going to be a part, but they have incorporated it. So which means that you have to broaden your horizon of learning. Okay, which means vocabulary based questions also are having a high potential of being a particular question in the paper. So you can have something like jargons, as I was saying, that some terms, some jargons that you can definitely learn, okay, with respect to any type of segments. You have so many segments. So we have about 10 segments related to economics. We have not just micro macro, but we have public economics, we have population studies, we have environmental economics, we have international economics. So okay, so because of this process, sorry that there was a little break of the network. Okay, so which is why we just got a snap, but now it's fine. So which is why you must read up a lot of articles and collect your base for these various terminologies. We have a lot of terms and concepts which are given on our app, or you can visit the website, you can download the app, and you can definitely find the study material, some specific material which is been made for the study of such type of topics. Okay, then you have questions involving paraphrasing. Now questions involving paraphrasing normally are not given in the paper 2, but again you cannot deny the fact that they might never be asked. So paraphrasing just means that you are going to write a certain statement in your own language. That is paraphrasing. So sometimes a statement which is given already in the passage might have to be converted into a certain paragraph, or might have to be converted into some simplified version, so that it could be an answer to a certain question. So that again is something that can be asked. And finally, application based questions. You can be given a certain, let's say, Indian economy related segment question, and you might be directly asked about some contemporary news with relations to Indian economies, that topic which has been let's say put across in the passage. So which again means that there are high chances of such modifications to happen in the future, in the coming near future, with reference to reading comprehension passages, because it has a high potential for you all. to learn. Okay, so broaden your horizons and start picking up on these various key things that we have discussed, so that it would be just giving you a better idea of how and what to learn. All right, now the next now, as I believe that you must have understood about all about this, so let us now start reading the passage that had arrived. Okay, of course, reading of the passage is not going to be very, I'm going to read up the passage quickly because I do not want to waste anybody's time. But meanwhile, I'll also highlight a few things that while you read a passage, you must definitely note down, because I have this object, I have this pencil that through which I can actually highlight anything. However, when we appear for UGC NET examination, we do not have that benefit of a pen or a pencil, right? So you have to note down everything on the piece of paper that you've been given. So which is why I'm going to highlight a few things which might be really interesting to note and might be good to note, so that we can solve the questions later. Okay, so let us begin. Now, as I also mentioned, okay, I'm just simultaneously also looking at the chat box. So, as I had recently mentioned that this topic of reading comprehension incorporated in the paper 2 economics recently means two exams have been in the previous 2 examinations, this has been incorporated. Now, which means that this presently will not be given in any book. Okay, you will not be given any book through which you can practice these passages. What exactly you need to do is start reading the material which is already present, which is given to you in various newspapers. You have to read these news articles so that you have an applicative understanding, a comprehension skill that is groomed in you, inculcated in you automatically, organically. So that is what is required over here. Okay, now let us begin reading this passage. The objectives of public finance are to ensure macroeconomic stability, achieve the desired state of distribution, provide public services to accelerate growth and development. Fiscal policy has both macro and micro aspects. Further, the objectives include allocating resources for the provision of public services. The important point is that ensuring security and protection of property rights is a basic public good. And this can be provided only by the government. The governments have the task of distributing incomes and alleviating poverty. After the Great Depression and influenced by Keynes economics, public spending was assigned a central role. Of course, thus the role of public finance is inextricably linked to the role of the state. From merely ensuring safety, security and property rights, governments have expanded their activities to providing a variety of public services with externalities. The expansion has been a subject matter of debate. Musgrave considers that the expansion of the public sector has been necessary and constructive development. So this has been stated by whom? By Musgrave, that the expansion of the public sector has been necessary and constructive development, and strong public sector is needed along with the capital market. In contrast, Buchanan argues that dispute arises when the state expands to areas beyond the realm of boundaries of the protective state into productive tax transfer state. Now, let us read up only this much. Okay, this is this and okay, how to cover the diverse area in UGC NET examination. Now the questions are coming from variety of areas. Okay, the very important, first I am going to answer to this question and then we are going to look at this passage. Okay, so when we talk about the diverse area, okay, now this is actually not a diverse area, it is only under the head or umbrella term of economics. Now we need to understand that economics is in this growing age a very significant segment which no one can ignore. Every thing is changing. With the changing times, economies are changing. There are so many modifications which are happening in the global scenario. So which is why, as educators, you are going to crack the UGC NET examination to become either an assistant professor or also a research fellow, which means that your subjective knowledge has to also increase with the changing times. You have to change the mannerisms and the process through which you go through because of the changing times and because economics is so dynamic. Okay, so which is why it is very, very important for you all to make sure that at least one newspaper you would definitely read a few articles of, so that you can get a near about information. Other than that, you can always download the app of Ecoholics, because there is a lot of variety of material that we have for free. So you can always go through that material. You can always contact us through our contact numbers, or so that we can offer you few things which are really, really important with respect to this course. Okay, now let's quickly move on to this part of the topic that we have discussed recently. Now, main idea, as we discussed, we have to identify the main idea, or the subject of this passage. The subject of the passage definitely is public finance. Okay, this is the topic in economics that they have chosen to put a passage upon. And now the main idea over here has been what exactly the public finance offers. Okay, so what exactly is public finance offering is the main idea of this whole passage. In these two paragraphs, we can definitely look at this point. Now, there are various things. Musgrave and Buchanan. Let's talk something about these two very, very important famous economists. We have Richard Musgrave, who was a very significant economist, I believe American economist, who has worked intensively in the field of public finance. And then we have James M. Buchanan, who again was a really, really significant economist, who has significantly worked in the concept of public choice theory. Okay, public choice theory, and he has also received a Nobel Prize for the same segment. Specifically, if we talk about the political decision making. So in that context, he has also received a Nobel Prize. Now, why I'm telling you this is because these two economists and many more economists who are, who have worked either in public choice theory or in public finance, can be potential questions to you in the next examination. Okay, these are small hints in every question paper that you have to decipher. Okay, so now moving on to the next passage. Sorry, not the next passage, the next half of this passage. Okay, in India, state intervention is again the government intervention through public finance policy has to play an important role besides ensuring the safety and security of people and their property rights. Okay, so which means what? Now this line is very inferential, which means it is providing you some inference. It is providing you some lead so that you can comprehend something more, which just means that the government intervention which happens through the public finance policy in India has to play a better role or a more significant role besides only providing for safety, security and property rights. It has to do something more, which include what? These include the need to overcome large social and physical infrastructure deficit, provide correctives to missing and imperfect markets. Now, missing market, imperfect markets, all these things are very, very integral part of public economics and environmental economics. Okay, so make sure that this is a potential lead to learn and to, you know, broaden your horizon for learning for the next examination, coming up examination. Okay, then introduce measures to reduce acute inequalities and poverty and provide correctives to widespread information asymmetry. See, asymmetrical information. Okay, market failure. Market failure due to what all things? Due to public good, due to externality, due to missing markets. These are directly from the syllabus that you have provided. So please make sure that you, with the wide eyes, look at the syllabus and try to focus what all things are asked in what all senses. Okay. Then again, interventions are needed also to provide externalities in terms of market imperfections and supply volatility. So basically, again, this is a part of market failure. Similarly, generalized externalities have to be ensured in sectors through competitive levels of infrastructure. India's public finance policies have enabled the government to play a catalytic role in the development of the economy as a whole. So public finance has been stated to be a very important, significant aspect. In addition, over the years, there has been a significant increase in the transfers from the government. What are they talking about over here? Transfer payments. Okay. Now, what are transfer payments? Anyone? What are transfer payments? Transfer payments basically are what? They are such type of incomes or payments which do not create any asset. Okay, they are just shifted from one individual or one entity to the other, and which is why they are known as transfer payments. Okay, they are not going to generate any extra new resource, income, revenue or asset. Okay, now in addition, over the year, increase in the transfers from the government, such as employment guarantee and food security, national housing scheme, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Ujjwala Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, periodic loan waiver, and many others. So these are various types of transfer payments which have to be done by the government in order to alleviate various inequalities and poverty. Okay, so they have also talked about transfer payments. So the whole concept of this passage was to provide the main idea of this passage was what? The main idea, like we said over here, the subject of the passage was public finance. Main idea of the passage was what public finance provides. Okay, now this is simple to understand, and now let's go quickly to the questions. Alright. Which one of the following statement is correct? Now you have to quickly identify which of the following statement is correct. The expansion of public sector has been a necessary and constructive development, and a strong public sector is needed along with the capitalist market. Now this statement has directly been taken from the passage itself. Okay? Then there are several reasons for the, we have to find out the correct option. Okay, there are several reasons for the state to embrace a much larger role. This has been an inferential statement, right? The statement was something like the public finance has to play a bigger role, and again this has been stated in another way. And then in India, state intervention through public finance policy has to play an important role. And Keynesian economics states that the state has to ensure full employment. Now tell me, in these four statements, which is the correct statement? Come on. Now identify which is the correct statement out of the following statements. Okay, now according to the passage, we are always going to go according to the passage. Okay, whenever a certain question arrives which is not application based or inferential based, it means it's a direct question, and direct questions are always given already in the passage. The hints are going to be given in the passage. The statements for which the hints are not going to be given, the statements for which the hints are not going to be given are not going to be marked as correct options. Okay, so the first statement, the expansion of public sector has been necessary. Now this statement has been given somewhere over here. Okay, the expansion has been over here. Now Musgrave considers that the expansion has been necessary constructive development. This has been stated by Musgrave. Okay, Buchanan has stated that the disputes arise when the state expands to areas beyond the realm boundaries of the protective state into productive tax transfer state, right? So which is why what we see over here is this seems to be correct. Okay, but because Buchanan is saying the other thing, which is why this is not that correct. But yes, in India the state intervention through public finance policy has to play an important role, which has been again given over here in this line itself. In India the state intervention through public policy has to play an important role. Okay, so what can be the answer? The answer, yes, correctly is A and C only. Very correctly it's stated by Suman. Okay, so answer is C, A and C only. Then the next statement, let us look at this question. The statement, dispute arises when the state expands to areas beyond the realm boundaries of the protective state into a productive or tax transfer state, was given by whom? Now this is a very direct statement, बहुत ही simple है, this is very simple. It was given by whom? Come on, anyone? There are only two people who have been mentioned with reference to the statements that have been given. One was Musgrave and other was James Buchanan. Now the primary line, this line was stated by Musgrave. So which is why this statement, dispute arises, again is of Buchanan. Okay, so the correct option is answer D. Okay, D option is the correct option for this question. Okay, then quickly, swiftly moving on to the next question. Which of the following objectives of public finance is not correct? Now please importantly note that here we have to find out the incorrect option. Incorrect option. Which of the following objectives of public finance is not correct? And to ensure macroeconomic stability, to ensure reduction of adverse balance of payments, to accelerate growth and development, to desire the state of distribution. Okay, now come on, tell me in these four options which is not the correct option. Yes, anyone who would like to answer this question? Now this has not been given in your passage, but this is from the general understanding and the conceptual clarity that you have of public finance that you're going to answer this question. Okay, now you know that balance of payments is external sector and the segment that deals with this is international economics. Public finance does not deal with ensuring the reduction of adverse balance of payments. Okay, that is the concept that is there in international economics. You can talk about it in the other way as well. Okay, how you can also talk about, okay, desired state of distribution. Desired state of distribution actually is what? Income distribution that they are talking about. Okay, they are talking about desired state of distribution means income distribution. ठीक है, so do not get confused. The state distribution यहाँ पे वो लोग किस बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? They are talking about the income distribution, which is why the incorrect option is actually the ensuring of reduction of adverse balance of payments. Although you would think that अरे fiscal policy when you talk about fiscal policy, then it might have a bad impact or a worsening impact on the balance of payments. But balance of payments are always corrected by what? Devaluation, revaluation, which is a concept of what? International economics. Isliye the incorrect option over here is what? Ensuring reduction of adverse balance of payments, which is not the objective of public finance. Public finance will deal with macroeconomic stability, acceleration of growth and development, and providing the desired state of income distribution. ठीक है? Now, coming on to the next question. Which one of the following does not, again, incorrect, which one of the following does not fall in the category of government transfers? Okay, now we have recently learned that government transfers are what? Transfer payments which do not create any asset. Okay, these things do not create any asset. Okay, so which one of the following does not fall in the category of government transfers? Now, can you look at these various options and can you simply tell which are not the transfer payments by the government, which are not government transfers? Yes? Yes, please. Can we have an answer for this question? Which one of the following does not fall in the category of government transfers? Okay, so whenever you talk about national housing, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, periodic loan waiver, okay, now all of you please note over here, it's no, all of these, whether it's national housing, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or periodic loan waiver, all of them are government transfers, beta. Please understand this very, very accurately. I would give you a simple, I would also give you the passage from where they have picked this up. Okay, now over here in this passage, see what they are saying over here. What are they saying over here? In addition, over the years, there has been a significant increase in transfers from the government, such as these are all the transfers that they have stated: employment guarantee, food security, national housing scheme, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Ujjwala Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman, periodic loan waiver. All of these things are what? Government transfers. Okay, so although this question was a very direct question, still you must all know that all the transfer payments which are done, and specifically if they have been mentioned in the passage, you definitely have to mark that in the question as well. Okay, so now when we have seen the question, seen the passage, now I believe that you can definitely be assured that the answer to this is education. Now, अगर passage में नहीं भी होता, still the answer would have been education, because as I said, government transfers are those payments or those transfer payments or simply transfer payments which do not create any asset, something that does not create any asset. So all of these do not create any asset. But when we say not fall in the category, which means that something which is not government payment or government transfer. So education is something which actually is done through public expenditure, through which a certain various types of resources and assets are created, so that education is going to extend to pan India level. ठीक है, इसलिए the correct answer to this question is education. Now last and final question of this passage, let us take that question. The externalities of the government intervention in the economy can be found in terms of, okay, externalities are what? Any external phenomena which may impact the third party. Okay, any external phenomena which impacts the third party is known as is known as externality. Okay, so the externalities of the government intervention, whenever government intervenes in the market mechanism, then what happens? These externalities of the government intervention in the economy can be found in terms of what? Now, market development, money supply, storage and price support in agriculture, or irrigation. So we have variety of options over here. You just have to simply, now government intervention means what? Where the government is going to involve. What are the parameters, what are the components which are present over here in which the government is going to get involved through public expenditure? What are the various components? Yes, market development. Yes, in the market development it is definitely going to be involved. Yes, in the storage and price support in agriculture, whether we talk about warehousing, whether we talk about various other storages, whether we talk about MSP, all are what? Government interventions only. So yes, also in irrigation, there's so many irrigation related schemes. Okay, so then the correct answer to this question is what? Now money supply is what? It is not a government intervention. It is a RBI intervention. Correct? So, according to this whole proposition, the correct answer to this question is what? A, C and D. Okay? It is not A, B and C. It is A, C and D. See, please remember, B option has been ruled out. Option B has been ruled out. Why option B has been ruled out? Because money supply is not a government intervention, it is an RBI intervention. It does not come under public fiscal policy, it comes under monetary policy, right? But the other things definitely, so you can always rule out these two options. Now what is left? ACD and A and D. Okay, however, C is a very significant option, so which means that this is the correct option. You can also identify the correct options by diluting the wrong options. Over here, what did I do? I diluted option number B. So we just diluted and we just said that okay, second and third answer are totally incorrect. So we have the options of ACD and A and D. Now in both these options we have A as common, so A तो definitely true ही है. Okay, now it is only the matter of fact whether C is also there or not. Now we know for the very important fact that there are so many facilities which are given by the government intervention and public expenditure. So much goes in supporting the farmers, supporting for MSP, or there are so many other food security related things, storage house, warehouses which are made for specifically agricultural products. So which is why the correct option becomes A, C, D. Okay, so this is the correct option for this question. Alright, now over here we end with this session and this very discussion. Now very importantly, in the next weekend again we are going to meet and I'm going to bring to you all another few important aspects of what was this time included and incorporated in the UGC NET paper 2 examination, so that you can get a better insight onto how can you broaden your horizons of learning and how can you more and more get associated with economics. Okay, this field of economics is very dynamic, which is why you have to keep on learning, keep on honing your skills with economics. And for any queries, for any details, you can always contact us. You can download the app, you can go to the website, you can always browse through the various courses that we offer, and through the email IDs and contact details, you can always go on and inquire about various questions that you might have. Okay, and we'll be very happy and glad to solve all your doubts. Keep listening to our various various YouTube videos and discussions that we have, and we're really glad that you all arrive, and you are very interactive, so that's really good. Thank you so much for today's session, and have a very good night, and meet you all in the next weekend. Thank you so much.